Hello everybody and welcome to the Cowes Torquay Cowes Offshore Powerboat Race August 2023. As we look down now in the marina on pre-race day, today is Saturday, scrutineering, checking boats and equipment and making sure all is in order for the grueling race down to Torquay and back non-stop. For other boats there is the shorter course from Cowes to Poole and back. So let's go down and meet some of the crews. Boat H400, the magnificent Bertram Hull Thunderstreet, where one of our favourite crews are racing today. Driver Hugo Peel, throttles Adrian De Ferranti and navigator Richard Jessel. And just for a moment, we're very privileged to be able to have a look at the layout here. They've re-equipped this boat beautifully. Modern instrument panel, 3 decent bolster seats, but the exciting bit, so we're looking down now at the engine bay of Thunderstreet, twin 8.2 litre V8 Mercruiser engines, modern engines in a much older hull. She was built in the 1960s, probably one of the oldest boats here racing, but still highly competitive. The scrutineer is on board in the white shirt there, checking everything for safety and also equipment. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined now by Hugo Peel and his wonderful crew of Adrian De Ferranti and Richard Jessel, the crew of Thunderstreet. Boys, you had a very successful weekend down in Falmouth. Tell us about it.
Oh dear, it was very emotional because they granted us the Cornish 100 trophy. And as we raced Tommy's old boat, he won it in 1965 and Tommy's boat won it again in 2023, and that's pretty special, and it's a very fine trophy and we were very touched to be granted it.
And how many years ago did Tommy win the trophy?
I think it was 65.
Gosh.
And therefore that makes it about 58 years ago.
Right, very special year for you. Richard, how's the navigation going for tomorrow in the race to Torquay and back?
We're going to Poole.
Oh, you're doing the Poole race.
Course,
okay,
yeah.
Right, okay.
And everything looks great. We've had a bit of a check out of the course, looked at the buoys, and everything's good.
So, just remind me, down to Poole and back, how many nautical miles are you doing?
Technically the course is 67 miles.
Right.
We do a loop round Poole Bay and then come back up again.
So how long do you think it'll take you to...
Well, that's a very difficult question because the Falmouth race we spent 2.5 hours or nearly 3 hours out on the course, whereas the Lymington course we spent an hour and a bit out on.
Yeah.
Our average speed on the Lymington course was 62 miles an hour. Our average speed on the Falmouth course was 22 miles an hour.
Yes.
So it was very, very slow and very, very rough.
Well, we're waiting for you. We'll be out there waiting for you to come over the finish line tomorrow. And finally, Adrian, now we're not racing, or you're not racing on any offshore of land that you actually own in Dorset tomorrow, are you?
Well, no, because I don't actually own any land in Dorset. I'm a farmer in Hampshire.
Oh, it's in Hampshire, is it? Oh, right, I got the wrong county then. So, Adrian,
I quite like Dorset.
Tell us what your experience is in the Cowes Torquay and the Cowes Poole race. You've done this several years.
I'm really looking forward to it because the northwesterly wind isn't really the nicest wind for chop in the Bournemouth Bay.
Yeah.
And so, but actually, we quite like it quite rough because it's to our advantage.
Yeah, because she's a rough weather hull, isn't she?
Well, yes, and it slows everybody else up a bit, so we have a chance of catching up.
Pretty rough crew as well.
Well, I know that goes without saying, particularly after last night in the Royal Yacht Squadron. Just very briefly, Hugo, the engines are brand new engines, are they?
No, they're in their 3rd season now.
Yeah.
And we blew the original engines up. We say we blew it up. Someone else blew them up for us. And we sat and said, what would Tommy have done with blown engines? He would have gone out and he would have bought the latest engines with as much power as his wallet could afford and the latest propulsion system. So we changed from V-drive to stern drives and V8 to V8, Ford to Mercruiser.
Brilliant. Well, as we call you now, the gentleman team from the Royal Yacht Squadron, Hugo, Richard and Adrian, it's always a privilege to interview you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, there are many classic offshore hulls here today, and this is another one. This is a Velocity 31 designed by Steve Stepp. The very first Velocity to be imported in England. We subsequently brought in a number of Velocities, one of which I successfully raced here in England with twin V8 engines. Now here we have the mount. Mr. Noisy is the name of the mount, and it is Alan Goodwin, driver, Will Brown, throttles, and Lee Smith, navigator, and the man himself is standing there looking down at the engine bay. We'll have a word with him shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, Alan Goodwin, long-term powerboat racer. Alan, how are you today?
Yes, I'm well actually, yeah, looking forward to it.
Right,
this
so
is my last time, of course.
Well, you said that last year and the year before. Now tell us about the race. Which one are you doing tomorrow?
Cowes Pool, I'm doing the Cowes Pool.
Right, so this boat is Velocity 31.
Yes.
And you've campaigned it for how many years?
Well, I've owned it for 28, I think.
Yeah.
So, other than a short break in the middle, most of the time. So the last 10 years, we've only done 5 years of the last 10 years.
Well, last year you did very well in this race, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, we did, yeah.
How do you feel about the race tomorrow?
Well, I think we're on top of it at the moment, really on top of it.